Vrbo makes it easy to claim your dream summer spot with early booking deals. From homes with pools to poolside loungers, when you book a Vrbo, you don't have to reserve any loungers. They're all yours. All you have to do is book early. Book with Vrbo.
While every other channel is fighting for your customers' attention, podcasts are where they've already given it. No one accidentally listens to a podcast for 45 minutes. They choose to be here. They trust the voice in their ears, and when that voice talks about your brand, it doesn't sound like advertising. It sounds like a recommendation from a friend. Acast gives you that trust at scale. Digital precision, host-read authenticity, and performance data that proves it worked. Don't fight for attention. Buy it with Acast. Learn more by visiting acast.com/advertise.
On today's Smart 7, polling opens for elections across the UK. Trump struggles to close deal with Iran and much more. It's Thursday, 7th of May. It's World Password Day and happy birthday, Michael Rosen.
The Smart 7. It's news, but not the news.
Polls opened at 7 a.m. for the local and devolved parliamentary elections across the UK. The battle for local council seats across England is expected to be a five-way tussle between Reform, the Greens, Labour, the Lib Dems and the Tories. Labour have most to lose, and with terrible polling numbers, it's expected they'll see at least 1,000 councillors lose their seats, while Reform would hope to see a similar number of gains. The Tories may see their seats halved, but leader Kemi Badenoch says her party remains the only sensible choice.
The only party that is serious and that has a plan, not just for local councils but for the country, is the Conservatives. Whether it's our plan to get Britain working, abolishing business rates for small businesses, we have a plan, no one else does.
New Green Party leader Zach Polanski has come under huge media pressure after his party's by-election victory, with the Today Show weighing in with some big questions on Wednesday.
Do you think you're ready to be Prime Minister?
I'm not ready right now. No, I've been leader for 8 months and there's lots of skills and lots of knowledge to get. And I think that's fine. I think I'm a human being. I'm not perfect.
But give it 2 years, you will be.
Well, we'll see in 2 years' time, won't we? But I'll certainly be putting in the work.
Wednesday saw more bickering between Iran and the United States over potential peace talks and the current state of affairs in the Strait of Hormuz. US President Trump continued to suggest that a deal is close, while also insisting that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Iran is still considering a US proposal for a potential deal, but the US president was clear that if they don't make a deal, renewed military action is still on the table. With Trump due to visit China next week, the Chinese Foreign Ministry entered the chat on Wednesday. A spokesperson, Lin Jian, says it's time for peace.
The current situation is at a critical juncture of transition from war to peace. China believes that a complete cessation of hostilities is imperative, and restarting the conflict is even more unacceptable.
Former head of MI6, Sir John Sawers, says Trump has got himself into an unenviable position.
Every intelligence agency around the world knew that if you assault Iran, they're going to close the Strait of Hormuz. You cannot stop the Iranians holding these commercial vessels at threat. You don't need a large navy, you don't need sophisticated weaponry to hold a commercial vessel at risk.
The cruise ship MV Hondius at the centre of a hantavirus outbreak is expected to set sail for the Canary Islands after the Spanish authorities finally granted permission for the vessel to dock. The World Health Organization evacuated a number of passengers on Wednesday, including a British doctor who is a crew member and is suspected to be suffering from the virus. 3 people have died during the outbreak and at least 8 potential cases have been identified. The ship, which still has 150 passengers on board, will take 3 days to reach the Canaries, but Fernando Clavijo, who is the head of regional government for the island, says that makes no sense.
If the passengers are healthy and there is no risk of infection, it makes no sense for them to have to travel to the Canary Islands to be repatriated. No one has explained us that. No one has explained to us why.
It seems like a million years ago since President Obama was a resident of the White House, but it's 10 years this year since he departed to make way for Donald Trump's first term. Obama has been busy building a spectacular presidential library in Chicago and working with Michelle on a thriving media production business which has produced hits for Netflix, including Oscar-winning documentary American Factory. His library is due to officially open in June, and he popped up to chat with Stephen Colbert, whose show is in its final weeks. Colbert was keen to follow up on the former president's controversial remarks from earlier this year about aliens being real, but Barack says that if they are, they definitely haven't visited Earth yet.
For those of you who still think, we've got little green men underground somewhere. Government is terrible at keeping secrets. If there were aliens or alien spaceships or anything, I promise you, some guy guarding the installation would have taken a selfie with one of the aliens and sent it to his girlfriend and press him.
Still to come on today's Smart 7 in association with Metro. The Champions League final lineup is complete and tributes to the man who invented non-stop news. Right after this.
On May 29th, from Focus Features and the producers of Darkest Hour comes Pressure, the untold true story of D-Day. Facing the wrath of nature and with the largest seaborne invasion in history at stake, the fate of the war rests on the shoulders of two extraordinary men. One impossible decision. Featuring powerful performances from Andrew Scott, Brendan Fraser, Kerry Condon, and Damian Lewis. Pressure, the untold true story of D-Day. Only in theaters May 29th. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. Experience it in Dolby Cinema.
You've got social dialed in. Search is doing its thing. So why do your marketing results look the same as 6 months ago? That's because you're fishing in the same pond as everyone else. Podcast listeners are a different audience entirely. More engaged, harder to reach through traditional channels, and ready to act when someone they trust makes a recommendation. We're Acast, and we put them right in front of you. Browse thousands of the world's leading podcasts, book host reads or run your own ads, and track every conversion in real time. Same skills you already have, brand new results. Acast. Acast.com/advertise.
Welcome back. Wednesday saw the lineup for the Champions League final decided. Bayern Munich hosted PSG for the second leg of what was an epic battle. The first leg had finished 5-4 to the French champions, and most of the spectators were hoping for another 9-goal thriller. That wasn't the case, but PSG scored early, and a late Harry Kane goal wasn't enough for Bayern, so the French side will meet Arsenal in Budapest on May 30th. PSG manager Luis Enrique was full of respect for Arsenal, but has his eye on history.
They have been performing the whole season at a high level. They were unbelievable during the whole season, but it's the final. They want to win it. I think it's going to be their first, and we want to continue with making history in Paris, and to making history we need to win the second one in a row.
This week saw the Rolling Stones in Brooklyn to launch a brand new album, their 25th. The band, whose average age is 80, are still rocking, and the new album, which is called Foreign Tongues, includes a guest appearance from relative youngster The Cure's Robert Smith and fellow veteran Paul McCartney. The launch was a star-studded event hosted by Conan O'Brien and included special guest Leonardo DiCaprio. Keith Richards says even at 82, the Rolling Stones' magic is still there.
It's always a joy. I mean, some are, you work a little harder at them, others come a little easier, but really, it's eventually if something comes out the other end, you know, you done it, you know what I mean?
Wednesday saw the death of the man credited with creating the 24-hour news cycle, Ted Turner. He founded CNN and created the concept of the rolling news channel, which has since been copied by many, including Rupert Murdoch's Fox News. Turner was also a philanthropist, donating more than $1 billion to the UN and charitable causes, and he was a world-class yachtsman, winning the America's Cup in 1977. He was described by former CNN executive Walter Isaacson as the most fearless journalist I've ever seen, and there were tributes from a wide range of admirers, including Piers Morgan and US President Donald Trump. The man known as the Mouth of the South was married to actress and activist Jane Fonda for 10 years. Rest in peace, Ted.
I worked till 7 o'clock, and when I got home, the news was over. So I missed television news completely, and I figured there were lots of people like me. It was more than just a company to me. It was a way of life.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.
At Pepco, we know that rising energy costs are putting real pressure on families and businesses across D.C. Since we don't control most of your bill, we're focused on all we can do to help our customers. Providing assistance through our Customer Relief Fund, investing in reliability to reduce outages and costly repairs, and advocating for long-term solutions. That's how we're helping customers today and strengthening the system for tomorrow. Learn more at pepco.com/energy costs.
You've got social dialed in. Search is doing its thing. So why do your marketing results look the same as 6 months ago? That's because you're fishing in the same pond as everyone else. Podcast listeners are a different audience entirely. More engaged, harder to reach through traditional channels, and ready to act when someone they trust makes a recommendation. We're Acast, and we put them right in front of you. Browse thousands of the world's leading podcasts, book host reads or run your own ads, and track every conversion in real time. Same skills you already have, brand new results. Acast. Acast.com/advertise.